So over there, come on, finger, you can do it. There we go. NordVPN. .com/RLS. Go check that out. Sign up there. 70% off a VPN. What more could you want in these troubled times where everyone is trying to spy on you and see what you're up to, and looking at, even liking tweets is now incriminating. Yeah, that's the finger that got chopped off. That's why it's all bent. In case you're wondering. I can't feel the top. I used to use it to stir me tea when I was out on a building site. So, yeah, it's a bit hard to sort of control it, and it's a bit wonky, because that entire knuckle joint was, like, replaced. You can see the scars probably now that I've got, like, HD. You can see. Go a bit further around. So, miracles of science. There was a hospital in Wales. It's called Morriston Hospital in Swansea, and they are really ahead of the curve, pioneering hospital for reattaching body parts. Like, if you get a bit sliced off in Britain, you probably want to be there, and obviously I happen to be close to Wales, so close to that hospital specifically, and I ended up there. And I've told the story before, but basically, I was out in rural Wales when the incident occurred, and the fingers too, because you can see now as well. Wait, that one you can probably see, just the slice that went through the pad, so you can sort of see the angle at which they got sliced. Anyway, I severed an artery in this finger. I didn't even know you had arteries in your fingers. And I knew it was an arterial bleed, because obviously I've done, first aid and all that stuff. Because literally, as I was kind of like looking at it, I could feel my heart go like, it's beating quite fast, because this has occurred. And literally, like, out the end. So I was like, right, wrap that up in a bunch of towels. Pinch that off, probably a good idea. Stupid place to put arteries, really. Your fingers, you stick them in everything. It's fucking crazy. And I had to call an ambulance, and they were basically miles away, because, I'm in the fucking mumbles. I'm in the middle of nowhere. So they said, tourniquet it off if you can, wrap it up, compression, elevation, all that shit. And we'll get there. It took them fucking ages. I lost a lot of blood, incredibly, and I picked up the chunks of finger that had come off, and I had them in a cup. And the first thing the fucking paramedics did when they turned up, they got that cup with all the flesh in, and they just went, "You don't need this. That is no use to anyone." So they just fucking threw them away. And said, get in the fucking ambulance, get in, we're going to take you to hospitals. All right, so I was in the back, and I said, this is starting to fucking hurt now, this, you haven't got any painkillers, have you? Give me some of that good. And they went, nah, sorry, we were just on a run, some pisshead, and, something had happened, he broke his arm, so we had to give him some fucking painkillers, and we've come straight to you, and we ain't got any left. So I went, all right, sound. So can I have anything? Because this is like a 40-minute fucking drive. And he said, oh yeah, tell you what, you can have this. And he pulled out the nitrous oxide. He pulled out the laughing gas. He said, just have some of that. That'll fucking take your mind off it. I was like, brilliant. So I'm just huffing laughing gas. Obviously, I'm doing it with this one. Just huffing laughing gas. Laughing my tits off while my fucking fingers are just severed, and I'm pissed. I've got an arterial bleed. Get there. Fucking get into the fucking they have to do an x-ray to see if I've chipped the bone, and they lay my hand out on a table, and as they did that, whatever tourniquet system they'd put on it when I first came in pinged off. and blood just started pissing out all over the X-ray mat. And the doctor went, "Yeah, I think actually we'll skip to the surgery. We'll skip to the surgery, shall we?" And I could hear them talking in the background, like, you know. And he's lost a lot of blood. And I'm going, "What do you mean? What do you mean? How much? What's happening? Stop whispering." And anyway, they ran me down into the surgery, and they said, "Right, we're going to put you under." And I said, "No, Richard, don't play with that shit. No one's giving me anesthesia unless it's absolutely necessary." They said, "Sir, your fingers off. It is necessary. We're going to put it back on for you." I went, "No, not while I'm asleep, you know. I'm not having any of that shit." And so they said, "Well, how do you expect us to do the surgery?" I said, "I don't know, find a way, or just fucking solder the hole shut." And I said, "I'm not even bothered about having my fingers put back on, mate. You want to do that? I'm fine. I can accept losing them. Like, it's just the two ends of my fingers. Like, I know loads of chippies and that have got no fingers. Like, I'm not that bothered." you threw them away. You threw the bit I tried to keep. You said you don't need them no more. I've made peace with it. I've been on laughing gas for 6 hours. I'm fine. So anyway, the doctor said, "Well, okay, well, you're being awkward, Mr. Lewis. I'm not going to lie about it." And I went, "Yeah, but I just don't want the anesthesia. You can't just come in and fucking anesthetize me against my will. So how do we solve this problem?" So they said, "Well, we can do the surgery while you're awake, but we have to give you an injection directly into a nerve in your armpit, and it will hurt worse than the fingers coming off." And I said, "Sound." I said, "I got a pain threshold like no one else, me, mate." I said, I've had a bollock stamped in half playing rugby. Go get the fucking needle now. Let's get it done." So I think they were trying to fuck with me a little bit, thinking I'd pussy out. He came in with this needle, like someone you would give to a fucking racehorse, you know. Massive it was. Like, fuck up. The needle don't need to be that big, like. But anyway, he thought I was gonna like fucking brick it, and I went, "Right, sound." Lifted up my armpit, you know, and they fucking stuck it in there. And it was so, testify, having a syringe in you. And then they pumped me full of this shit. And you could feel it, like, you know. And they were there. And he had a scalpel. And he was, like, pinging the ends of my fingers and going, "It has to go all the way down to your fingertips so you can't feel. Otherwise, we will have to anesthetize you. Or we just sew you up and you don't get your fingers back." And I was like, okay. It took about 10 minutes. I was thinking, fucking hell, this is never going to happen. And then, anyway, my arm finally went dead, so I'm all like fucking like a fucking Doctor Strangelove, you know. And I'm lying there, and obviously most people aren't awake when surgery is going on, you know. And it's just loads of doctors, and they all hate me because I'm making them do it while I'm awake. And so the doctor puts on fucking Queen's Greatest Hits. And he looked down at me, he said, "You know, we don't usually have awake patients, but just to let you know, you don't get a choice in the music you listen to while we're doing surgery." And I was like, "Oh, right, okay." And the surgeon, the chief surgeon, like, they've got Queen going on, right? So it's all of it. Bohemian Rhapsody, all the boring hits you've heard a million times by Queen. While I'm literally, they've got like a little curtain around my hand, and I'm looking down, like, "Oh, what's going on down there?" And they're just chopping bits up. They gave me a skin graft from, you can see the scar there on my palm. They took a skin graft from there to fill the hole, right? So I watched them like just slice my hand up, and I couldn't feel it. Well, I'm just like, "Oh, it's out." Well, you know, "Mama, just slice the hand." Like, fucking hell. So I fucking can't listen to Queen now. I fucking hate it. I got like aversion to it. So anyway, the surgeon hates me because, like, obviously it's easy to operate on people while they're asleep, you know. And fucking the surgeon's like talking to me. He's like saying he's just burning me the whole time. Like, he's just giving me mad burns. Like, he said, "Oh, so do you play the guitar?" And I went, "Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, can you tell?" He went, "Nah, you're not gonna do that anymore. You don't anymore. That's gone. That's over. You'll never do that again." I was like, "What the fuck? Why are you doing this? You mad cunt! Like, what are you torturing me for as well?" There were just loads of little bits like that all the way through. Anyway, I get out the surgery. They've done a skin graft, rebuilt parts of my finger. I mean, it's still like, it's never going to be normal when you have something put back on. Like, for example, you know, when you do that thing, well, you see how like that knuckle, see how it bends? Look at the other one. It just doesn't. It's just dummy thick and doesn't bend for the rest of my life. But anyway, it's dummy thick. So I get back into they put me in a ward, you know, where with other people who've had bits off, basically the bits off ward. Cheers for the $5 foreign gamer. Good to see you on Twitter. Tom, more rings than any NFL franchise. Brady, what a legend. I know, isn't he? Great Super Bowl, wasn't it? Well, no, absolutely not. Probably the worst I've ever watched, but whatever. It's got a great story. So anyway, I'm in the ward where all the other people have got bits off, and there's loads of people. Now, first up, I can't get a good night's kip while I'm in next. They need to keep me in for observation or whatever, you know. They put my hand up in a thing, like you know what they put an IV drip on? It was that, but they tied my hand to it because they said when you get a skin graft, it oozes blood slowly, like it never quite stops bleeding because it's all living flesh and you're not sewing it fully shut. So my hand's up there and I'm asleep and it's dripping like a fucking horror movie. I keep getting woke up because blood's dripping on my head, you know. So I don't really get much of a sleep for an hour or two, you know. And in the bed across from me, and this is all the people who know the deep lore know this, there was a fella who was working as a carpenter, and he was doing that thing, you know, where you've got them saws, like not that way, like circular, but like that way, and you go and you like cut things into slices or whatever, and you cut chunks out, or whatever was going on anyway on his saw. I mean, this type of saw is not really important. He's pushing it in like that. And the thing snaps and it just goes wow wow and whips round and it's cut him through there. Like slice, all of them gone, palm gone. On his other hand, thumbs off, it's all gone. Just absolutely wrecked him, like. And by the time I've met this fella, and trust me, I got to know him real well because the cunt wouldn't stop farting. He was fucking, you know, between blood dripping on my head and this guy's arsehole going off like a fucking speedboat every fucking 30 minutes. You know, because when you're on a ward, you're not in, you know, this is an NHS hospital, so it's 6 beds to a ward, just open plan. So I can just, he's just rolling around, this big fat fella he was, rolling around, like just fucking blowing the bed covers off every like 30 minutes, like. So, anyway, I got talking to him in one of the mornings, you know, because like, he was reading the paper and I wanted the paper after him, you know. And he said, I said, oh, so fuck happened to you then? And he said, told me the story about the saw. And he said, they've been slowly rebuilding my hands via a series of operations. And when I was looking at his hands, like obviously they looked mental, you know. They were like flabby, doughy, and he had toes. They took his toes and turned them into fingers and thumbs. So he had like a big thumb on it, a big toe for a thumb on his like right hand. And they say like you can't take like your little toe, or you can't take too many toes, or your sense of balance is permanently fucked or something. I don't know. But anyway, they took 3 toes, so he didn't have the full 5 going on, but he had like 3 in the thumb on both hands. And basically he was sat there like reading the paper with these like toe fingers. They like ran, I don't know, like reattached the ligaments in your hands. Like madness. The level of tech they did to rebuild this cunt's hands. All covered in scars and angry, toes for fingers. But yeah, he was fucking living the dream. He was happy as fuck. He even waved goodbye when I left the ward. Like, fucking, don't point those things at me. Feet, they're gross. But yeah, so the long-lasting effects of having me fingers off was basically the nerve regeneration didn't really happen, so I can't really feel, like I don't have any sensation in those 2 fingers. So, you know, Just used to be like, right, having a coffee or a cup of tea in a building site. Needs to stir it, so your sugar don't all sink to the bottom. Haven't got a spoon. No worries. Scalding hot. Just stick the finger in. It's fine. I mean, the flesh still burns and all that, but you just don't feel it. So that's probably why it's a chonker as well, because I've probably, used it inappropriately as some sort of tool for various hurtful acts, So it might just be swelling. But, it is what it is. So, yeah, there you go. I don't even know why I'm telling you that. That's because I'm out of shit. I'm just out of content. Got a ponytail. Fat man with a ponytail and a beard. It's all gone downhill, really. Used to be somebody.